Tonight, 85 million Americans under heat threat.
It's hot. I haven't been this hot for a long time. It just took over.
Scorching heat is baking the nation and our shorelines, hitting temperatures rarely seen before. And with tens of millions of Americans under heat alerts from California to Florida, a dangerous combination of the heat and wildfire smoke is endangering many. What you can do and how long it could last. Plus,
most rappers, when they portray the police, they have to hire actors. Thanks to the Adams County Sheriff Department, they saved me a whole lot of money.
His home was raided by police, and he turned that raid into art, more specifically, music videos. Now the police are suing. In tonight's Prime Focus, we bring you the story of Afro Man and the question of the fine line between art and reality. And
the moment that he went on TV and announced that he was coming to Miami, that was the moment where we looked at each other and said, we did it.
Lionel Messi is soccer's biggest star, and he's now in Miami. We speak with David Beckham on how he brought the superstar to America and how the move could change soccer for millions. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We're following those stories and much more, including the alleged inhumane treatment at the border, the investigation now underway, and the questions being asked in Washington. Plus, is the mercenary group Russia has depended on leaving Ukraine for good? The proclamation being made by the Wagner chief and how it could upend the war in Ukraine. And a labor to remember, the moment a baby boy was born outside of the world's busiest tunnel. ABC News Live Prime has team coverage on two major stories tonight. Our Matt Rivers is on the ground in Texas, and Mary Bruce has the very latest from the White House. But we do begin with our team of meteorologists tracking worldwide weather extremes and the role that climate change is playing in it all. We're talking about deadly heat, blazing wildfires, devastating flooding, and powerful tornadoes. And at the moment, it may seem like these extremes are hitting everything, everywhere, and all at once. In Europe, tourists are being warned to stay inside. The UN says that a heat wave amplified by climate change could shatter the all-time temperature record for the continent. Asia, India, and South Korea have seen massive flooding, leading to dozens of deaths. And in China, which is dealing with an unprecedented heat wave of its own, U.S. climate envoy John Kerry urged global cooperation, saying climate change is a threat to all of humankind. Back here at home, roughly 90 million Americans are under heat alerts. Some are facing life-threatening heat. In North Carolina, an EF3 tornado destroyed a Pfizer manufacturing plant. And in Kentucky, nearly a foot of rain has flooded neighborhoods. Tonight, all that severe weather is heading for the heartland. Rob Marciano leads us off from Florida.
Tonight, extreme heat now helping fuel powerful storms. This monster twister touching down outside of Raleigh, North Carolina. An EF3 with winds up to 150 miles per hour striking during the lunch hour. Nash County officials saying at least 8 people were hurt.
This is absolutely stunning. These are people's homes that have been completely wiped out. Some of them mobile homes, some of them freestanding structures.
A Pfizer manufacturing facility in Rocky Mount taking a direct hit. In Red Oak, families recounting the terror as a tornado tore through.
Look at the trees that we opened. We looked and we thought we were going to die.
And in southwest Kentucky, up to a foot of rain in spots, engulfing neighborhoods in Graves County. Governor Beshear declaring a state of emergency. The storms fueled by that onslaught of triple-digit heat baking much of the country. In Phoenix overnight, the low temperature was 97 degrees, an all-time record. Maricopa County officials saying now at least 18 people have died from the heat so far this summer. Arcana Whitworth in Las Vegas, where they're closing in on 10 days in a row of 110 plus.
Already this week, you have treated more people with heat-related illnesses than you did all of last June and July.
Yeah, this month has been exceptionally high. We've definitely seen a huge uptick.
Now we are turning around.
And right there in Las Vegas, it was above 110 outside. As this Delta flight was on the tarmac for more than an hour Monday, temperatures rising inside the plane.
The EMTs rushed on. It just felt traumatizing. They were running back and forth with oxygen tanks. The gurneys were coming. The flight attendant passed out. It was something out of a movie.
At least one person needed medical attention. Delta investigating why it got so hot on board. And in Europe tonight, where they too continue to see record-breaking heat, the European Union now sending assets from multiple member countries. Support coming from as far away as Israel to battle multiple out-of-control wildfires near Athens.
And Rob joins us now from Florida. Rob, we know that you're tracking that severe weather. Is there any end in sight to the heat?
Well, it's tough to say, but we are heading into the middle part and end of July, and that typically is the hottest part of the year. So no end in sight until further notice. We do have storms that we still need to deal with across parts of the upper Midwest tonight and the high plains. And we're going to reset the table tomorrow for the Carolinas as far as the severe weather is concerned. Also for Lexington, Kentucky, parts of Ohio could see strong winds, hail, and a tornado. Certainly some heavy rain, and also back again through the high plains. And the heat continues across Texas, Little Rock, back through Mississippi, and back through the Southwest as well. Your streak of 110 or better is going to continue. It looks like through the weekend for Palm Springs, Phoenix, and Las Vegas. We may be waiting till at least August, if not September. Lindsay?
Long summer ahead, Rob. Our thanks to you. Now I want to bring in our chief meteorologist, Ginger Z, and the managing editor of our climate unit. Ginger is also in Florida, where the ocean temperatures are nearing hot tub temperatures, and she just got out of the ocean doing a coral reef dive with a research team. Ginger, explain why it's so critical that we pay attention to what's happening to our planet's oceans and reefs.
Lindsay, I just got off of this boat and out of the water, so that's why I look like this. But I do think that it is really important that we pay special attention to these water temperatures. We've been talking about them for about 2 weeks because they've been progressively getting to this level of 4 to even 7 degrees above average for this early in the year. It is something that many of the scientists we're talking down here to say they haven't seen, certainly not in their careers. And some of these coral that are up to 3,000 years old that we went and saw around today have not seen this in their lifetimes, or at least not an event like this. So it is all about how these water temperatures heat up. And yes, of course, that, is easy to get in. It's bathtub-like. But also, it's about what it does to the coral, which is not just a creature that houses other marine life, but it also is the natural defense from hurricanes. It is like nature's concrete seawall so that we don't get as decimated by hurricanes down here. It is incredibly important to keep healthy. It hasn't been for the last 4 decades. It's been suffering, especially with the warming temperatures. But this year is beyond that. It is something different, as we've been talking about. I think even more importantly on land here is that the coral reef in Florida is responsible for an estimated $4 to $8 billion in revenue for commercial fishing and tourism. It is something they do not want to lose. And unfortunately, as we just got off this boat and the waters are far from warming, the bleaching is happening. We are at the maximum level of warning for bleaching, which is inevitable. And I can't wait for you to see what we found. Spoiler alert, it is not good. You'll see it all tomorrow on GMA, but for now, we'll head back to you.
All right, well, we do look forward to seeing that, Ginger. Thank you. Continued fallout over the accusations of inhumane treatment of migrants and children at our nation's southern border by Texas officials, some of them pushing back, claiming the order was, quote, misinterpreted. ABC's Matt Rivers is in Eagle Pass for us tonight.
Tonight, aerials over the Rio Grande showing the controversial razor wire and barriers installed to keep migrants from crossing. Measures an unnamed trooper called, quote, nothing but an inhumane trap for migrants. In an email obtained by ABC News, that Texas Department of Public Safety trooper telling a superior he was ordered twice by commanders to push crossing migrants back into the Rio Grande River, even though they might drown. Tonight, Texas DPS pushing back, saying the trooper, quote, misinterpreted the order.
At no point have any of our troopers received a directive to physically push migrants back into the river. Now, if a member from one of our leadership or a supervisor tells a trooper to push back migrants, what that means is to verbally tell them, go to a port of entry.
DPS also categorically denying the trooper's claim that he was told to not give water to migrants. And ABC News now learning that trooper has been on the job for more than 5 years, though just on a rotation and not permanently assigned to the border.
To someone who reads this email and comes to you and says, this email is proof that there is systemic problems within the Texas Department of Public Safety's approach to dealing with migrants, you say what?
I say that's inaccurate. It's inaccurate.
He says it's inaccurate. Matt Rivers continues for us on the U.S.-Mexico border. Matt, the Mexican government has also weighed in on these allegations. What do they have to say?
Yeah, Lindsay, the Mexican government not happy about this. They are demanding the removal of that newly installed razor wire. They say it is illegal. The U.S. State Department says Texas did not consult with the U.S. federal government before installing it. And now, Lindsay, the U.S. Justice Department saying it is assessing the claims made in that trooper's email. Lindsay?
Matt Rivers for us from Eagle Pass, Texas. Thanks so much, Matt. We head now to our nation's capital with our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce. Mary, during today's briefing, you pressed the White House on its response to Mexico to remove the buoys and razor wire put in place by Texas along the Rio Grande. What did the press secretary have to say?
Yeah, Lindsay, I asked them point blank, do they agree with Mexican officials that the way that this barrier has been constructed with this razor wire, these buoys, that it violates these international treaties, as the Mexican officials are claiming, and noted that the Mexican officials say that the U.S., the administration, has had this request from them now for 3 weeks. And the White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, gave a very cautious answer. She was quick to condemn the actions of Republican Texas Governor Abbott. She said that it was a political stunt, that he's acting in an inhumane way, that what we are seeing there lacks basic human decency, calling it atrocious. And she said instead of working to solve the problem, again, she says Abbott is resorting to this sort of political theater. But she didn't respond to the specifics, to the fact that Mexico is asking the U.S., asking this administration to step in and remove this barrier because they feel that it violates international law. So I pressed again, noting, it's clear that this administration condemns this behavior, but the bottom line is, what are they going to do about it? And she punted. She said that she couldn't speak to any legal action. She said that that's a matter for the Department of Justice, for the Department of Homeland Security. And Lindsay, we have reached out to them, and tonight they haven't commented. They are not responding yet to our requests, at least. So tonight, the big picture is, we don't know what this administration is going to do right now beyond reviewing the matter, beyond publicly condemning these actions. We're not sure what they're going to do to respond to this, and if they're going to take action to remove this barrier in the coming days and weeks, Lindsay.
We can count on you to keep asking those questions. Mary Bruce from the White House, thanks so much.
We're trying. Thanks, Lindsay.
Now to new information about that target letter sent to former President Trump by special counsel Jack Smith. Sources tell ABC News the letter cites 3 statutes pointing to possible crimes. Our chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl has more.
Tonight, former President Donald Trump is bracing to be indicted as soon as Friday on the most serious charges any president has ever faced. Alleged crimes related to his effort to overturn the 2020 election, which culminated in the attack on the Capitol on January 6th.
You'll never take back our country with weakness.
Sources tell ABC News that Trump never expected to be prosecuted for any of this, that he and his team believed special counsel Jack Smith would write a report instead. But then Sunday, the former president received that target letter from prosecutors, a sure sign an indictment is near. It's unclear what charges Trump could face, but sources tell ABC News that letter included references to 3 federal laws: conspiracy to defraud the U.S., witness tampering, which could involve obstruction, and, quote, deprivation of rights under color of law. That's when someone in authority uses their power to deny the constitutional rights of other Americans. The investigation has been sweeping, Smith's team interviewing election officials in at least 5 states, probing an alleged effort to install slates of fake electors, and interviewing the former president's closest aides for a window into his mindset in the weeks after he lost the election. They want to know, did Trump know he had lost the election, and was he illegally trying to overturn the results anyway? Witnesses like Cassidy Hutchinson, the top aide to former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, have publicly testified that Trump knew.
So he had said something to the effect of, I don't want people to know we lost, Mark. This is embarrassing. Figure it out. We need to figure it out. I don't want people to know that we lost.
The former president remains defiant.
It's a disgrace. If you say something about an election, they want to put you in jail for the rest of your life. It's a disgrace.
John Karl joins us now. John, what are your sources telling you about the timing, when this indictment could possibly happen?
Well, Lindsay, we've learned that Jack Smith, the special counsel, plans to bring at least 1 more witness before the grand jury, and to do it tomorrow, a lower-level Trump aide. But despite that, all indications are that this indictment is coming soon, possibly as early as Friday of this week or sometime next week.
Jonathan Karl for us in Miami. Thanks so much, John. Las Vegas detectives are continuing their investigation into the killing of Tupac Shakur. The search of the home outside of Las Vegas is being viewed, according to an official, as a success, though detectives doubt any of the belongings retrieved could present a direct link to the target of the investigation. Items retrieved from the home include pictures from the 1990s that apparently show people who might have been connected to those directly involved with a drive-by or with people connected to those people. Records pertaining to the search are currently sealed. Turning overseas now, new details in the stunning defection of a U.S. soldier to North Korea, including this photo of Army Private Travis King wearing a black cap and shirt just moments before he intentionally ran across the border at the DMZ. Chief Global Affairs anchor Martha Raddatz has more from South Korea.
The chilling new image of that U.S. soldier, tall, dressed in black, moments before he bolted across the border into North Korea and was detained by the communist regime. Tonight, Travis King's mother making a desperate plea for his safe return.
I just want my son back. Get my son home.
The 23-year-old, his back to the camera, standing at the front of a tour group visiting the DMZ, the demilitarized zone separating North and South Korea. A tourist in that group describing the moment King started to run.
One of the American soldiers shouted, "Get him," but he was going so fast and so close to the border by that point that they couldn't.
The soldier had just been released after spending 47 days in a South Korean jail. New court documents revealing he'd pleaded guilty to assault and was fined $4,000 for vandalizing a police car. Officials say nearly 12 hours passed from the time King was scheduled to board a flight back to the U.S., where he was facing discharge from the Army, to when he showed up at and crossed that border. Tonight, King's family saying they don't know why he did this.
It don't make no sense to me. Something just got to be going on in his head.
In here, the conference building. I was given an authorized in-depth tour in 2017 of the exact same area where King darted between those iconic blue buildings and into North Korea. We stepped inside one of them.
That's it. And the line follows these microphones and then the blocks outside, so that's the border.
Since crossing that border, King's exact whereabouts are unknown, but a U.S. official telling me King was taken away in a van and is believed to be in North Korea's capital, Pyongyang.
And let's bring in Martha Raddatz, who's in South Korea tonight. Martha, what are officials telling you about this soldier?
Lindsay, I spoke to a U.S. official just a few hours ago who said the U.S. believes Travis King is now being interrogated by the North Koreans and that it could be some time before King is released. So far, North Korea has not issued any statements and has not responded to U.S. efforts to reach out to them. Lindsay?
Martha Raddatz in South Korea. Thank you. In its latest attack on Ukraine, Russia launched dozens of missiles and drones at grain facilities for 2 straight nights. Now the country has issued a new threat after pulling out of a critical grain deal. That, as the head of the Wagner mercenary group now says he may keep his group out of the front lines altogether. Our James Longman reports from Ukraine.
A hellish night. That's how Ukrainian officials describe yet another Russian barrage raining down on the coastal city of Odessa. Of the 63 missiles and drones launched, 26 punched through Ukrainian defenses. Civilians caught in the destruction, but grain infrastructure seems Putin's main target. Moscow has suspended the deal that allows grain to leave Ukrainian ports, and today delivered its most sinister warning yet, saying all ships sailing in the Black Sea to Ukrainian ports will be considered as potential carriers of military cargo. That is potentially a full naval blockade on Ukraine if the Kremlin acts on its threats. This is the first video emerges of what appears to be Yevgeny Prigozhin since he staged a failed coup against Putin last month. The dimly lit images match Prigozhin's voice and profile as he addresses Wagner fighters in Belarus, hinting that his forces might rejoin the war at some point, but not anytime soon.
And Lindsay, it's gone midnight in Moscow, which means Russia is claiming it'll now treat any ship approaching a Ukrainian port as potentially supplying weapons, therefore a military target. Lindsay?
James Longman for us in Ukraine. Thank you. There are at least a dozen Republican candidates now in the 2024 race, but despite challenges on multiple legal fronts, former President Trump is still far and away the clear frontrunner for the GOP nomination. So our next guest is former Department of Homeland Security Chief of Staff Miles Taylor, who's out with a new book, Blowback, a warning to save democracy from the next Trump, which dives into events from inside the Trump administration and predicts what another MAGA presidency could mean. Miles, thanks so much for joining us.
Lindsay, it's great to be here.
So turns out the next Trump could be Trump. Were you ever expecting that?
It could. I mean, you look at the outset of this book, I said, the next Trump might be him returning to the White House, but it also could be a savvier successor or a copycat. And what's interesting is when you put that picture up of those people who are in that field, the majority of them are vying to be the next Trump. And a lot of them have actually tried to pursue policies that even Donald Trump resisted putting into place.
So back in 2018, you wrote an anonymous op-ed for the New York Times. At the time, you were part of the Trump administration. Then in 2020, you went on the record basically admonishing Americans, do not vote for Trump again. He didn't win then at that point. But now when you look at the polls, if there are any real indication, I mean, he's off the charts. What goes through your mind?
I think it's pretty alarming. I mean, if you look at not just the polls, but the betting markets give him 3 times the odds of winning the presidency as he had on the eve of actually winning the presidency in 2016. And I think that we've got to take that extremely seriously. But what it points to is a deeper problem in our political system, which is structurally, right now, our political system is sort of rewarding extremism. What do I mean by that? The primary process in our political system means roughly 10% of the country makes the decision for the rest of us, the other 90%, about who's going to be on the ballot when we go vote every November. And I worry that's going to happen in this primary process, as the GOP primary, state by state, is probably going to be determined by heavily MAGA voters, heavy MAGA voters who are probably going to put, again, Trump or a copycat in that poll position to be in the White House.
Are you shocked that we are in this place again?
I mean, when I wrote that opinion piece several years ago, I tried to say, look, the president's own lieutenants think he's a danger to this country, but don't worry. This axis of adults, they are guardrails. They'll protect our country. And you know what, Lindsay? I was catastrophically wrong in spreading that false hope, because what did Trump do? He systematically eliminated and pushed out anyone who tried to say no to him, tried to prevent him from doing things that were illegal. So I don't think we can maintain that false hope of a group of unelected bureaucrats protecting us from a wayward chief executive. We need to take that person seriously. Only one person gets elected president when we vote on the ballot, and we need to assess that individual's character and their intentions before we decide whether to hire them.
Of course, we've been reporting throughout the day about another potential looming indictment, potentially the third this time, for his efforts to potentially try to overturn the prior election. But it doesn't seem like that shakes his voter base, really. Do you see anything changing? Do you feel like, I mean, you know, we are still a while away from Election Day, but do you feel at some point the fangs come out, the gloves come off?
Well, it seems right now to defy the laws of politics. I mean, if you're in a race and your opponent looks vulnerable, you use that vulnerability to attack them and to supersede them in the race. And right now, Donald Trump has faced multiple indictments. He's twice impeached. He should be the weakest potential candidate for the presidency that we have ever seen in American politics. And yet, most of his opponents are scared to attack him because they don't want to alienate his supporters. That fear could potentially put us in a position, and in fact seems likely to put us in a position, where Donald Trump is the nominee.
Miles Taylor, we thank you so much for coming on. Want to let our viewers know that Blowback, a warning to save democracy from the next Trump, is now available wherever books are sold. Still much more to get to here on Prime tonight. A deadly golf cart accident involving a 3-year-old. What happened after the toddler got behind the wheel? But next in our Prime Focus, do police officers have a right to privacy in the line of duty? Rapper Afro Man has found himself in the center of this debate after using images from a raid on his home in a song. Now he's in a legal battle with several officers.
These big, tough dudes that laugh when you ask them to help you put your door back on the hinge, it's turned into these little whiny crybabies complaining about my song. My only response to that was a rap song and a t-shirt.
Whenever news breaks,
the crush of families here in Poland.
Here in Kentucky, no match for the tornado.
From Monterey Park, California, on the ground in Ukraine.
reporting from Uvalde, Texas, ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
From Kathmandu, Nepal.
Truckee, California, covering record snowfall.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
Here at this airport in Tampa, it's already shut down.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Reporting from Jerusalem.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on. Everybody in that home is okay.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. We are here at fashion's biggest night out.
What's happening today? YouTube has unveiled a new set of policies.
What people are talking about. The new ad campaign.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
A real-life Barbie dream house.
A name change for the Wienermobile.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yeah.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do? Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Welcome back, everyone. A legal battle over privacy for officers involved in a raid. At the center of it, rapper Afro Man. After police searched his home, he used surveillance video of it in a music video and put images on merchandise. Now, some of the officers are suing. Our Alex Forche traveled to Afro Man's hometown of Winchester, Ohio, to learn more about the case that brought officers there and why Afro Man decided to turn his experience into viral songs.
I was gonna clean my room until I got high.
It was the beginning of a new millennium when a rapper by the name of Afro Man climbed to the top of the charts with a song like none of its kind.
Because I got high, because I got high. La da da da. Said Coke 45 and 2 zigzags. Baby, that's all we need.
Then came Crazy Rap, and a year later, a Grammy nomination.
Singing them dirty rap songs. Stop and hit the beat like Cheech and Chong. It still takes smoke to the home. I got this one done. I'm gonna wear this to my son's basketball game.
Fast forward 2 decades later, this is life for Afro Man now, living in Winchester, Ohio, playing the songs that made him famous.
Cause I got
But he also has some new tunes.
Will you help me repair my gate? Will you help me repair my door? 11-pound game.
These days, Afro Man isn't just singing about weed. He's also rapping about his experience with police.
Why you disconnecting my video camera? Did you find what you was looking for?
How long did it take you to write that song?
To be fair, maybe a good 30 minutes. I think I just wanted to say whatever I was feeling. Most rappers, when they portray the police, they have to hire actors. Thanks to the Adams County Sheriff Department, they saved me a whole lot of money. They came over here with guns to kill me. The best thing I came up with was write songs about my experience and try to sell them and make some money to pay for the destruction that they brought to my house.
On August 21st last year, deputies from the Adams County Sheriff's Department pulled up in front of Afro Man's house in Winchester.
Was driving home, like, I don't know, like 65 miles away from home, I get a call. My kids was next door playing in the yard when they could see the police officers pulling up.
Armed with long guns and wearing tactical gear, the officers kicked down the door and entered the property. The whole thing playing out on Afro Man's security cameras. Afro Man says he watched his house get raided right from his phone.
No matter how hard you try to be a law-abiding citizen, this is how, America treats you, like, I felt powerless.
The warrant obtained for this raid lists some serious allegations, evidence of drug possession and trafficking, as well as kidnapping. It also states that the police received a tip from a confidential informant who had seen large amounts of weed and money at the property and claimed Afro Man kept women locked in his basement.
I didn't get charged. I didn't kidnap. I don't know where they got that. You know what I'm saying? And I think they just made it up. And I talked to the head officer. I asked him if I was under arrest. He said no. Then I asked him, were there any charges? He said no. Then I asked him if he would help me put my door back on the hinges and help me fix my gate. And that's when he cracked a little smile and said, we're not required to do that. And that's their way of just letting you know that that's how it is and you can't do nothing about it. So I got to start from right there and figure out what's my move.
The Adams County Sheriff kicked down my door.
Afro Man went on and wrote 3 songs about the incident. Using the security camera video, he then released a music video that quickly went viral.
Lemon pound cake, he wanna put down his Glock. Lemon pound cake, trending on TikTok.
After Lemon Pound Cake and Will You Help Me Repair My Door, Afro Man made merchandise, saying it was his way of getting justice. But 3 months later, he received a notice the officers involved in that raid were suing him, claiming they had suffered humiliation, ridicule, mental distress, embarrassment, and loss of reputation after the music videos were released. Their claim demanded they should receive the proceeds that Afro Man made using their image.
What's your response to that?
These big, tough dudes that laugh when you ask them to help you put your door back on the hinge, it's turned into these little whiny crybabies complaining about my song. My only response to that was a rap song and a T-shirt.
We reached out to the Adams County Sheriff's Department via telephone and also in person. A spokesperson said they could not comment about the case because it's still under investigation. We also reached out to the attorney representing the deputies. They declined to comment on the specifics of this case, but they did say in an email, I intend to argue my client's case in the Adams County Court, not in the court of public opinion or the press. Experts say this case raises some interesting legal points.
The officers do have a reasonable right to privacy. We all do. But typically that something has to be exposed that is intensely personal and it would offend a reasonable person. Officers acting in their job, executing their job functions is typically not going to rise to the level of a violation of privacy.
Afro Man has lived in Adams County for 17 years, a county of 27,000 people where 96% of the residents are white, according to the Census Bureau.
Describe to me, how the hell have these last, 17 plus years been living here in this community?
Yeah, when I ride down the street, I get the, the whistles, the out the window. Yeah, they've been overall nice to me. I had to go to Walmart the other day, and everybody was coming up to me. Are you okay, man? I'm sorry about what you went through. And then they tell me stories that they're going through the same thing too, but they don't have the platform I have to expose it.
While the lawsuit is still unresolved, Afro Man is preparing to take a new direction. He's officially running for president in 2024.
Talk to me about your platform.
My platform is I want to make marijuana, cannabis, legal in all 50 states. There's no more raiding people for a plant. After that, I would like to see some serious police reform. If a cop doesn't wear a camera, he doesn't get a paycheck. Hey, I could win. I could lose, but I could win. Yeah, if nothing else, I'll give a voice to somebody who can run the baton further.
He's one of many throwing his name into the ring. Our thanks to Alex Prochet for that. Still much more to get to tonight on Prime. Coming up, the latest developments in the death of a cinematographer on the set of the movie Rust, who appeared in court today. But next, extreme heat is leading to a lot more than just discomfort. We take a look at the global cost by the numbers.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
in Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine,
Close to the front line.
from the capital, destructive Cat 4 storm.
Along I-5. Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now.
I came out of jail with a plan. I was going to put every piece of energy I had into music.
Give it up for Jelly
If I wasn't a musician, I'd be dead. This was my best bet to really have an impact. I'll cry with you. Who'd have thought I could help people? I needed help, you know? I still need help.
Somebody save me. I love you.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Everybody in that home is okay.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. We are here at fashion's biggest night out.
What's happening today? YouTube has unveiled a new set of policies.
What people are talking about. The new ad campaign.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
A real-life Barbie dream house.
A name change for the Wienermobile.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
It was the ideal marriage. Little did I know I was married to a man who had done something so horrible that it would devastate our lives forever.
Teacher of the Year is now charged with sex crimes.
Only on Hulu.
He was living a double life.
The shocking story behind a #1 true crime podcast.
Prostitutes, escorts. He even cheated on me the week of our wedding.
Betrayal, the perfect husband.
He had a lot of fantasies.
Now streaming only on Hulu.
When I got sent to Idaho to cover the murders of 4 college students, it was a story that didn't make any sense. 4 students stabbed to death in their beds while 2 roommates were home.
You gotta think to yourself, okay, who's the target and how many people would a man go through to get to his target?
I'm Kana Whitworth with ABC News. This is the story of savage murders, a determined small-town police force, and a scholar of crime. This is the King Road Killings. The full series is out now. Listen to every episode wherever you get your podcasts.
This is where the newsmakers come first in the morning to be heard. America's #1 morning show.
How would your mom feel about your relationship with your brother now?
I can't imagine what it feels like to go from $20 billion to $100,000. Yeah. Are you worried about going to jail?
You write that you had low-grade depression. How'd you get out of that?
Wherever the story, ABC's Good Morning America is right there.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey, I'm David Muir. Wherever the story, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back, everyone. As much of the country and the world endures extreme heat, we have new details tonight on just how much changing climate patterns are costing us. Global risk broker Gallagher Reinsurance breaks it down by the numbers. Severe storms across the U.S. caused $44 billion in total economic losses in the first half of the year, making it the second costliest on record in the U.S. That included 16 natural disasters, topping $1 billion in direct economic damage. Globally, the U.S. accounted accounted for 76% of all insured natural disaster-related losses. NOAA reports at least 812 confirmed tornadoes touched down this season, and even more costly, at least 729 instances of hail larger than 2 inches in diameter. At least 14 of those storms caused more than $1 billion in economic losses, and at least 7 led to multi-billion-dollar insurance claims. That's the most so-called multi-billion-dollar events ever. This is the 16th consecutive year insured losses due to severe weather have topped $10 billion. And for the past 15 years, insured costs from severe weather like thunderstorms have grown 4% above inflation. Industry analysts say the trend is due to shifting climate patterns and growing populations in high-risk areas. As for the second half of the year, analysts are keeping a wary eye on the higher-than-normal Atlantic Ocean temperatures, bracing for a costly hurricane season. And we still have much more ahead on Prime tonight. He's one of the biggest soccer stars in the world, and Lionel Messi is now in South Florida. David Beckham explains how he brought him to America, and his new details are revealed about the investigation into rapper Tupac Shakur's murder. We speak to the director of an Emmy-nominated docuseries revealing details about Tupac's life.
What does it take to be America's #1 news? It takes asking the straightforward, tough questions.
Do you believe that Donald Trump should ever be president again?
How would your mom feel about your relationship with your brother now?
I can't imagine what it feels like to go from $20 billion to $100,000. Yeah. Are you worried about going to jail?
You write that you had low-grade depression. How'd you get out of that?
The news-making interviews.
You said that there were 6 friends. One of them was sick.
Yeah.
Do you have future political aspirations?
Going to the front line.
The search for survivors. How does this war end?
And getting to the heart of the story.
Thank you for being here. We'll be here for the long run.
ABC News, #1 in the morning, the #1 newscast, #1 in daytime talk, Friday nights, Sunday mornings versus the competition, and the #1 streaming news. Thank you for making ABC News America's trusted, straightforward first choice.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Everybody in that home is okay.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. We are here at fashion's biggest night out.
What's happening today? YouTube has unveiled a new set of policies.
What people are talking about. The new ad campaign.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
A real-life Barbie dream house.
A name change for the Wienermobile.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital. Destructive Cat 4 storm.
You're along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
When I got sent to Idaho to cover the murders of 4 college students, it was a story that didn't make any sense. 4 students stabbed to death in their beds while 2 roommates were home.
You gotta think to yourself, okay, who's the target and how many people would a man go through to get to his target?
I'm Kana Whitworth with ABC News. This is the story of savage murders, a determined small-town police force, and a scholar of crime. This is the King Road Killings. The full series is out now. Listen to every episode wherever you get your podcasts.
Get ready, America, every Friday.
The hottest trends, styles, and must-have. What's the right stuff to buy right now? I really love that. It's time to buy the right stuff.
Yes!
And save big time, too.
The right stuff.
Fridays on GMA. You're going to love it.
This is ABC News Live Prime.
Thanks so much for streaming with us.
Live reporting, breaking news, exclusives, award-winning, powerful, eye-opening. ABC News Live Prime with Lindsay Davis. Streaming weeknights.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
Yeah. So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do? Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
A deadly crash involving a 3-year-old driving a golf cart. A college ends its legacy admissions process, and a special delivery during a rush hour commute. These stories and much more in tonight's rundown.
The former weapons supervisor on the set of the movie Rust won't have to take a drug test as she faces felony charges of evidence tampering and involuntary manslaughter in the on-set shooting death of a cinematographer by actor Alec Baldwin. A New Mexico district court judge dismissed a request from prosecutors to test Hannah Gutierrez-Reed for illegal drugs, calling it an ambush against her defense lawyers. Prosecutors say Gutierrez-Reed passed narcotics to another person to avoid legal consequences in the immediate aftermath of the fatal shooting in October 2021, while contending in court documents that the armorer was likely hungover on the day a live bullet was placed into the gun Baldwin used.
At the end of the day, a little boy that should be here isn't.
The investigation continues after they say a 3-year-old boy driving a golf cart hit and killed his 7-year-old brother.
Well, naturally, I don't think any of us think a 3-year-old should be driving a golf cart.
Florida Highway Patrol says it happened on a dirt path outside of the boy's home. They're still looking into why the 3-year-old was driving and where exactly the 7-year-old was right before the crash.
Wesleyan University announcing it will no longer grant preference to student applicants with family or donor ties, saying it's important to end legacy admissions. Wesleyan joining several elite schools in dropping the practice. The decision comes weeks after the Supreme Court ruled to end affirmative action in college admissions.
The CDC reports cocaine and opioid overdose deaths in the U.S. increased 7-fold from 2011 to 2021. In 2021, nearly 79% of deaths involving cocaine also involved an opioid.
Hundreds of thousands of Americans die each year from being misdiagnosed. Johns Hopkins researchers using estimates for what they call the big three: vascular events, infections, and cancers. The study finding patients may be misdiagnosed 11% of the time, strokes being the most overlooked. But the overall risk of misdiagnosis is still very, very low, less than 0.1%.
Little Killian is resting comfortably, the pride of a proud mom and dad. But his entry into the world was a little hairy because he wouldn't wait for his due date and decided to make an appearance just outside the Lincoln Tunnel. So Dad, who was driving, knew he could not wait any longer and flagged down Port Authority cops who rushed in to help.
I said, please help me, because my wife is, I think is going to have a baby because he's bleeding and I see the baby's there.
The officers knew exactly what to do and delivered a healthy 6-pound, 9-ounce baby boy.
We want to get to a bit of breaking news from Auckland, New Zealand. A shooting at a construction site in the city's busy downtown has left 2 people dead and multiple others injured. Police say the shooter has been killed and describe the shooting as an isolated incident. Shootings are rare in New Zealand. The country banned semi-automatic weapons back in 2019. The incident happened as the Women's World Cup soccer tournament is set to get underway in Auckland later tonight. Las Vegas detectives searching a residence in connection to rapper Tupac's murder have reignited questions surrounding his death. Meanwhile, the Emmy-nominated docuseries on FX, Dear Mama, is revealing new details about his life. Allen Hughes, who directed that series, as well as acclaimed films like Menace to Society, joins us now. Thanks so much for joining us, Allen.
Thank you for having me, Lindsay.
So let's start with this Tupac news. You knew him personally. What do you remember about hearing he died?
I mean, I think we were all shocked by the way it happened and where it happened. And then when you find out how it happened, it just shook us all up in the hip hop community because he was the first person, the first hip hop artist to be gunned down at that level, like wide open air like that. And it changed the trajectory of the genre of hip hop when that happened.
A lot of podcasts and documentaries are being credited with helping the case to regain momentum. What part do you think that Dear Mama might have played in that as well?
I mean, I know people had a real strong emotional reaction to Dear Mama. You know, it broke viewing records for FX and Hulu. he was right back in the zeitgeist in a big way again because of the Hollywood Walk of Fame induction as well. So I think it probably triggered and shook a lot of trees and reactivated interest in potential leads in this case. I mean, it was a very emotional reaction people had to the film. So 27 years after his murder, I think we're all at a place where we can look at it through a different lens now, a more healthy lens. So I hope in the most hopeful way, it had a positive effect.
And what are your thoughts with regard to detectives now bandying about who they think the possible suspect is? Is this somebody who all along there was some suspicion?
In the community, as we know, and in the streets, there was never a mystery to who killed Tupac. That was never a mystery. So it's always about Las Vegas law enforcement closing the case on this. And what happened that night in the MGM Grand Casino and that a violent incident that Tupac and gang had with that individual, again, that guy, everyone knows, came back and shot Tupac.
And focusing deeply on the influence of his mother, Dear Mama shines a really bright light on much of his life. What did you want viewers to learn about Tupac and his legacy?
The original message in his journey and being a social justice warrior and what his mother was always representing, and she lost her way a little bit after the FBI decimated the Black Panthers, but ultimately what they lived for, what they fought for were human rights, civil rights, women's rights. And I just wanted to focus on that purpose in his journey. What an artist. But his mother, that all started with his mother. She was the original poet. She was the original artist. And she was the original social justice warrior in the family. And all props to Afeni Shakur.
Of course, there's a lot of archive footage in the docuseries. What do you feel like you learned about Tupac through this project?
The biggest thing that I took away was a deep sense of compassion for him and his journey. I had no idea what was expected of him as a baby Panther, as a Panther cub. I had no idea the trauma he inherited that he was born into. And when we talk about mental health in the Black community, he lived in the wake of his mother's PTSD from what the feds did to the Black Panthers. It was a lot of trauma there. But the fact that this kid was able to produce this wonderful, magical, and sometimes dark and interesting art, and that short 5-year period he produced records is a miracle.
You're nominated for an Emmy. You've received critical acclaim. How do you feel about all the positive attention and reaction that Dear Mama's receiving?
Blessed. I'm just happy that more than anything that people get to learn about Afeni, and learn about her journey, because that is the source of all of this. That was the thing that was lost to the dustbin of history. Whether it was just the culture at large, and some of her comrades tried to bury some of her accomplishments. So I'm super proud that people get to finally see her journey and realize what a soldier and what an intellect Afeni Shakur had.
Allen Hughes, we thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming back on the show. All episodes of the Emmy-nominated docuseries Dear Mama are now available to stream on Hulu.
Thank you so much, Lindsay.
He's one of the greatest athletes to join a U.S. league, and tonight we get the story from the two men who are the masterminds behind one of the biggest sports deals in our nation's history. Our Victor Oquendo sat down with soccer star David Beckham and a major Miami business mogul about the mission to bring Lionel Messi to Miami.
Soccer's biggest superstar, the GOAT, Lionel Messi, training with his new team for the first time.
The moment that he went on TV and announced that he was coming to Miami, that was the moment where we looked at each other and said, we did it.
Sí, muchacho, nos vemos en Miami.
Inter Miami co-owners David Beckham and Jorge Mas, the men who brought Messi to Miami.
Now that it's official, can you open up a little bit? Tell us about the process of luring Leo Messi, the best soccer player in the world, to Miami, beating out places like Barcelona, like Paris, and big money from Saudi Arabia. Can you open up and tell us how you managed to pull this off?
It all began with a boy from East London and a Cuban kid from Miami. getting on an airplane in London, flying to Barcelona in 2019 to meet Leo's father. I thought it was important for us to outline to Lionel Messi that there could be 3 major events in the history of the sport in this country. Pelé in 1972, David Beckham in 2007, and Lionel Messi in 2023.
Mas, the billionaire Cuban-American businessman, partnering with Beckham, one of the most recognizable faces of football, to change the landscape of the sport in Miami and Major League Soccer. From the beginning, Messi was their man. One of the most celebrated athletes in history, a 7-time Ballon d'Or winner, awarded to the best player annually, and winning his first World Cup title for Argentina last year.
You're talking about a player that has, didn't just win the World Cup 5 years ago, he won the World Cup a year ago. So to bring a player like that to now play in the MLS, to play for our team, it's bigger than just, winning trophies. It's inspiring the next generation. It's being able to leave a legacy in the game that we all love so much.
Now a new test in a new city and team.
I think it was about legacy for Lionel. I think it was about family. I think it was about selling South Florida and America and a new chapter and dream in the Messi family's life. And the beautiful thing, it was Lionel Messi's decision.
Messi's contract with Inter Miami, reportedly for 2.5 years, worth 50 to 60 million a year.
And on a personal level, what conversations have you had with him and his family about what to expect in the public? Like, did he really think he could fly under the radar at a Publix grocery store?
Well, I think at the end of the day, that's what makes Leo human. It's what makes his family human. Surprise, surprise, Leo does his own grocery shopping with his wife. Surprise, surprise, he goes out for dinner. Those are the things that's why people love Leo so much.
Thousands packed Drive Pink Stadium Sunday, braving pouring rain for Messi's official introduction.
Lionel Andres Messi!
The truth is that I'm very moved to be here in Miami, to be with you. I'm anxious to start to train and to compete, and I've always had the belief that I want to win and I want to be a champion.
It was so Miami in a torrential downpour to see 20,000 fans receiving and giving a welcome to the world's greatest player, Lionel Messi.
Tonight, we're doing this Miami style in the rain. This is holy water.
The global, magnitude of this and the eyes of the world on Miami, but not just on Miami, on the league, on the sport, and that's a huge thing. To bring someone like Leo here.
We are building a special club here at Inter Miami. A club that represents this special place and its people.
Fans flocked to the training facility this week, donning those number 10 jerseys, even though practice was closed to the public, just hoping for a glimpse.
It's something that we have passion.
I come here to vacation, but Messi is Messi.
He was literally right there on the window. I saw him from afar at least. He's going to be here for 2 years, so I know I got my shot.
The atmosphere sure to be electric should Messi play Friday night, a moment not lost on Beckham.
I might actually cry when I see him onto the pitch, because I think, I've realised that as I get older, I get more emotional. I look at my kids, I get emotional. I talk to my kids and my wife, I get emotional. So I think the moment that we see Leo step onto our pitch in front of our fans, in front of this nation, I don't know, I'll be emotional for sure.
Lots of excitement. Our thanks to Victor for that. And that's our show for this hour. I'm Lindsay Davis. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thank you so much for streaming with us. Coming up in the next hour, 2 boys were found running in the street without clothing and covered in bruises. Who's now accused of keeping them locked up for years? And raging wildfires destroy homes and burn forests. What could soon make conditions even more dangerous?
This is ABC News Live Prime.
Thanks so much for streaming with us.
Live reporting, breaking news, exclusives, award-winning, powerful, eye-opening. ABC News Live Prime with Lindsay Davis. Streaming weeknights. From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now. This is where the newsmakers come first in the morning to be heard. America's #1 morning show.
How would your mom feel about your relationship with your brother now?
I can't imagine what it feels like to go from $20 billion to $100,000. Yeah. Are you worried about going to jail?
You write that you had low-grade depression. How'd you get out of that?
Wherever the story, ABC's Good Morning America is right there.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
in Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital. Destructive Cat 4 storm.
You're along I-5. Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
It was the ideal marriage. Little did I know I was married to a man who had done something so horrible that it would devastate our lives forever.
Teacher of the Year is now charged with sex crimes.
Only on Hulu.
He was living a double life.
The shocking story behind a #1 true crime podcast.
Prostitutes, escorts. He even cheated on me the week of our wedding.
Betrayal, the perfect husband.
He had a lot of fantasies.
Now streaming only on Hulu.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
When I got sent to Idaho to cover the murders of 4 college students, it was a story that didn't make any sense. 4 students stabbed to death in their beds while 2 roommates were home.
You gotta think to yourself, okay, who's the target and how many people would a man go through to get to his target?
I'm Kana Whitworth with ABC News. This is the story of savage murders, a determined small-town police force, and a scholar of crime. This is the King Road Killings. The full series is out now. Listen to every episode wherever you get your podcasts.
Reporting from Monterey Park, California, I'm Robin Roberts. Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Good evening, everyone. This is ABC News Live Prime. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. We've got a lot of news to get to this evening, including the excessive heat wave putting some 85 million Americans in harm's way, plus the fallout from the revelations coming out of the border after allegations of inhumane treatment have surfaced, the investigation that's now underway. And we bring you the story of an octogenarian umpire who proves that practice truly does make perfect. But we begin with the worldwide climate extremes, deadly heat, blazing wildfires, devastating flooding, and powerful tornadoes. Roughly 90 million Americans are under heat alert. Some are facing life-threatening heat. In North Carolina, an EF3 tornado destroyed a Pfizer manufacturing plant, and in Kentucky, nearly a foot of rain has flooded neighborhoods. Our team of meteorologists are tracking worldwide weather extremes and the role climate change is playing in it all. Rob Marciano leads us off from Florida as all that severe weather is heading for the heartland.
Tonight, extreme heat now helping fuel powerful storms. This monster twister touching down outside of Raleigh, North Carolina. An EF3 with winds up to 150 miles per hour striking during the lunch hour. Nash County officials saying at least 8 people were hurt.
This is absolutely stunning. These are people's homes that have been completely wiped out. Some of them mobile homes, some of them freestanding structures.
A Pfizer manufacturing facility in Rocky Mount taking a direct hit. In Red Oak, families recounting the terror as a tornado tore through.
Look at the trees that we opened. We looked and we thought we were going to die.
And in southwest Kentucky, up to a foot of rain in spots, engulfing neighborhoods in Graves County. Governor Beshear declaring a state of emergency. The storms fueled by that onslaught of triple-digit heat baking much of the country. In Phoenix overnight, the low temperature was 97 degrees, an all-time record. Maricopa County officials saying now at least 18 people have died from the heat so far this summer. Arcana Whitworth in Las Vegas, where they're closing in on 10 days in a row of 110 plus.
Already this week, you have treated more people with heat-related illnesses than you did all of last June and July.
Yeah, this month has been exceptionally high. We've definitely seen a huge uptick.
Now we are turning around.
And right there in Las Vegas, it was above 110 outside. As this Delta flight was on the tarmac for more than an hour Monday, temperatures rising inside the plane.
The EMTs rushed on. It just felt traumatizing. They were running back and forth with oxygen tanks. The gurneys were coming. The flight attendant passed out. It was something out of a movie.
At least one person needed medical attention. Delta investigating why it got so hot on board. And in Europe tonight, where they too continue to see record-breaking heat, the European Union now sending assets from multiple member countries. Support coming from as far away as Israel to battle multiple out-of-control wildfires near Athens.
And Rob joins us now from Florida. Rob, we know that you're tracking that severe weather. Is there any end in sight to the heat?
Well, it's tough to say, but we are heading into the middle part and end of July, and that typically is the hottest part of the year. So no end in sight until further notice. We do have storms that we still need to deal with across parts of the upper Midwest tonight and the high plains, and we're going to reset the table tomorrow for the Carolinas as far as the severe weather is concerned. Also for Lexington, Kentucky, parts of Ohio could see strong winds, hail, and a tornado. Certainly some heavy rain, and also back again through the high plains. And the heat continues across Texas, Little Rock, back through Mississippi, and back through the Southwest as well. Your streak of 110 or better is going to continue. It looks like through the weekend for Palm Springs, Phoenix, and Las Vegas. We may be waiting till at least August, if not September. Lindsay?
Long summer ahead, Rob. Our thanks to you. Now let's bring in our chief meteorologist, Ginger Zinn, the managing editor of our climate unit. Ginger is also in Florida, where the ocean temperatures are nearing hot tub temperatures. And she just got off of the ocean doing a coral reef dive with a research team. Ginger, explain for us why it's so critical that we pay attention to what's happening to our planet's oceans and reefs.
Lindsay, I just got off of this boat and out of the water, so that's why I look like this. But I do think that it is really important that we pay special attention to these water temperatures. We've been talking about them for about 2 weeks because they've been progressively getting to this level of 4 to even 7 degrees above average for this early in the year. It is something that many of the scientists we're talking down here to say they haven't seen, certainly not in their careers. And some of these coral that are up to 3,000 years old that we went and saw around today have not seen this in their lifetimes, or at least not an event like this. So it is all about how these water temperatures heat up, and yes, of course, that, is easy to get in, it's bathtub-like, but also it's about what it does to the coral, which is not just a creature that houses other marine life, but it also is the natural defense from hurricanes. It is like nature's concrete seawall so that we don't get as decimated by hurricanes down here. It is incredibly important to keep healthy. It hasn't been for the last 4 decades. It's been suffering, especially with the warming temperatures, but this year is beyond that. It is something different, as we've been talking about. I think even more importantly on land here is that the coral reef in Florida is responsible for an estimated $4 to $8 billion in revenue for commercial fishing and tourism. It is something they do not want to lose. And unfortunately, as we just got off this boat and the waters are far from warming, the bleaching is happening. We are at the maximum level of warning for bleaching, which is inevitable. And I can't wait for you to see what we found. Spoiler alert, it is not good. You'll see it all tomorrow on GMA, but for now, we'll head back to you.
We will be eagerly awaiting that report, Ginger. Thank you. Continued fallout now over the accusations of inhumane treatment of migrants and children at our nation's southern border by Texas officials. Some of them pushing back, though, claiming that the order was, quote, misinterpreted. ABC's Matt Rivers is an Eagle Pass for us tonight.
Tonight, aerials over the Rio Grande showing the controversial razor wire and barriers installed to keep migrants from crossing. Measures an unnamed trooper called, quote, nothing but an inhumane trap for migrants. In an email obtained by ABC News, that Texas Department of Public Safety trooper telling his superior he was ordered twice by commanders to push crossing migrants back into the Rio Grande River, even though they might drown. Tonight, Texas DPS pushing back, saying the trooper, quote, misinterpreted the order.
At no point have any of our troopers received a directive to physically push migrants back into the river. Now, if a member from one of our leadership or a supervisor tells a trooper to push back migrants, what that means is to verbally tell them, go to a port of entry.
DPS also categorically denying the trooper's claim that he was told not to give water to migrants. And ABC News now learning that trooper has been on the job for more than 5 years, though just on a rotation and not permanently assigned to the border.
To someone who reads this email and comes to you and says, this email is proof that there is systemic problems within the Texas Department of Public Safety's approach to dealing with migrants, you say what?
I say that's inaccurate. It's inaccurate.
He says it's inaccurate. Matt Rivers continues for us on the U.S.-Mexico border. Matt, the Mexican government has also weighed in on these allegations. What do they have to say?
Yeah, Lindsay, the Mexican government not happy about this. They are demanding the removal of that newly installed razor wire. They say it is illegal. The U.S. State Department says Texas did not consult with the U.S. federal government before installing it. And now, Lindsay, the U.S. Justice Department saying it is assessing the claims made in that trooper's email. Lindsay?
Matt Rivers for us from Eagle Pass, Texas. Thanks so much, Matt. Now to new information about that target letter sent to former President Trump by special counsel Jack Smith. Sources tell ABC News the letter cites 3 statutes pointing to possible crimes. Our chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl has more.
Tonight, former President Donald Trump is bracing to be indicted as soon as Friday on the most serious charges any president has ever faced. Alleged crimes related to his effort to overturn the 2020 election, which culminated in the attack on the Capitol on January 6th.
You'll never take back our country with weakness.
Sources tell ABC News that Trump never expected to be prosecuted for any of this, that he and his team believed special counsel Jack Smith would write a report instead. But then Sunday, the former president received that target letter from prosecutors, a sure sign an indictment is near. It's unclear what charges Trump could face, but sources tell ABC News that letter included references to 3 federal laws: conspiracy to defraud the U.S., witness tampering, which could involve obstruction, and, quote, deprivation of rights under color of law. That's when someone in authority uses their power to deny the constitutional rights of other Americans. The investigation has been sweeping, Smith's team interviewing election officials in at least 5 states, probing an alleged effort to install slates of fake electors, and interviewing the former president's closest aides for a window into his mindset in the weeks after he lost the election. They want to know, did Trump know he had lost the election, and was he illegally trying to overturn the results anyway? Witnesses like Cassidy Hutchinson, the top aide to former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, have publicly testified that Trump knew.
So he had said something to the effect of, I don't want people to know we lost, Mark. This is embarrassing. Figure it out. We need to figure it out. I don't want people to know that we lost.
The former president remains defiant.
It's a disgrace. If you say something about an election, they want to put you in jail for the rest of your life. It's a disgrace.
Our thanks to Jonathan Karl for that. And we do want to get to a bit of breaking news from Auckland, New Zealand. A shooting at a construction site in the city's busy downtown has left 2 people dead and multiple others injured. Police say the shooter has been killed and describe the shooting as an isolated incident. Shootings are rare in New Zealand. The country banned semi-automatic weapons back in 2019. The incident happened as the Women's World Cup soccer tournament is set to get underway in Auckland later tonight. Colleagues and loved ones of detained Wall Street Journal journalist Evan Gershkovich are trying to raise awareness about his plight. A 24-hour marathon reading of Gershkovich's own writing will continue throughout the night. He has been detained nearly 4 months in Russia. Appeals of his arrest and requests for him to be released on bond have been denied by Russian courts. The Biden administration says that it is actively engaged in ongoing talks about a possible prisoner exchange. In Milwaukee, a mother and her boyfriend are charged with child neglect after her 2 sons, ages 7 and 9, were found running in the street naked and covered in bruises. Prosecutors say the boys had been locked up for years and broke a window to escape. Police describe the home as like something out of a horror movie. Here's Alex Perez.
Tonight, this mother facing criminal charges along with her boyfriend after police in Milwaukee say her 2 sons, ages 7 and 9, escaped a house of horrors where they were locked up for years.
Sounds like my neighbors be saying that the
children might be in danger.
Neighbors calling 911 after spotting the brothers walking around naked and bloody, describing them like cavemen.
The look on their faces was pure bewilderment. I don't think they'd ever been outside before.
Police say the windows in their bedroom were boarded up, but they escaped through another window.
My sister noticed right away something was wrong. Their hair was just very unkempt, and then she realized they were naked, that they were bruised and had red marks.
Inside the home, police say they found the children living in filth in a terrible hoarding situation. The mother, 34-year-old Katie Koch, who claims she homeschooled the boys, is now charged with child neglect and false imprisonment, along with her boyfriend, Joel Mankey.
It's like something out of a horror movie. These children were essentially confined to their room for much of their lives, and the door had a latch from the outside and the windows boarded shut.
What a grim picture there. Alex Perez joins us now. And Alex, you're learning new details from court documents?
Yeah, Lindsay, according to those court documents, the mother's boyfriend told police the boys had not seen a doctor in at least 3 years. If convicted, both could face more than 40 years behind bars. Lindsay?
All right, Alex Perez for us. Thanks so much, Alex. Still much more to get to on Prime tonight. Coming up, the global rise in misinformation, how the documentary While We Watched uncovers why one country's concept of truth is increasingly under threat. But next, a crackdown in Afghanistan. The Taliban ordered dozens of beauticians and makeup artists. They are gathering to protest.
Whenever news breaks,
the crush of families here in Poland.
Here in Kentucky, no match for the tornado.
From Monterey Park, California, on the ground in Ukraine.
Reporting from Uvalde, Texas, ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
From Kathmandu, Nepal.
In Truckee, California, covering record snowfall.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
Here at this airport in Tampa, it's already shut down.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Reporting from Jerusalem.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is. We're going to take you there.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Reporting from outside the courthouse in Walterboro, South Carolina, I'm Em Nguyen. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back. We're tracking several headlines around the world. Firefighting aircraft from Italy and France arrived in Greece today to help battle wildfires across the country. The fires have destroyed homes close to Athens and burned forests on the islands of Rhodes. A new heat wave is forecasted for the country, compounding the dangerous conditions. In Afghanistan, dozens of beauticians and makeup artists gathered in Kabul to protest the Taliban's order to close all beauty salons. The women said the closure will force them to lose an important source of income for their families. The beauty salon ban is the Taliban's latest curb on women's rights and freedoms after barring them from education, public spaces, and most forms of employment. Forces broke up today's peaceful protest with fire hoses and tasers. And a deadly bus crash in Peru. A long-distance bus traveling on the country's main highway plunged more than 300 feet into a ravine. At least 12 passengers were killed and 15 were taken to a nearby hospital. Police are investigating what caused the bus driver to lose control. In the award-winning documentary While We Watch, filmmaker Vinay Shukla shines a spotlight on the alarming rise of misinformation while examining the threats faced by independent news reporting in India and beyond. At the heart of the film is veteran reporter Ravish Kumar, who navigates budget cuts, staff departures, and even death threats as he strives to uphold journalistic truth. Let's take a look.
वो तो दिन रात सोचता रहता हूँ, कोई रास्ता नजर नहीं आता। अब ये नया खेल हो गया कि चैनल को खत्म कर दो, सब इररिलेवेंट हो गया है सर। यहाँ तो कम से कम ऑफिस है, आप सपोर्ट कर देंगे, कहीं वहाँ तो वो भी नहीं होगा। हम लिख सकते हैं कि ये गलत हो रहा है, लेकिन आदमी इस तरह से बदल गया है, उस तक कैसे पहुँचोगे? मतलब क्या जरिया क्या?
Joining us now is the director of the documentary and filmmaker Vinay Shukla and veteran reporter Ravish Kumar. Thank you both so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Vinay, let's start with you. What made you decide and inspired you to create a hard-hitting documentary about independent journalism in India and beyond being under attack?
I mean, I was very struck by one of Ravish's broadcasts. Very often you have news anchors, especially in popular culture, wherein they'll spend a lot of time telling their audiences that the audience is correct and we're here to serve the audience. On the contrary, Ravish on his broadcast was scolding the audiences and telling them to stop watching TV. With Ravish, I found a protagonist who was challenging the news while being very vulnerable himself. So I wanted to make a newsroom film about the cost of making news for those who are creating the news.
And Ravish, in the film, you're depicted as a veteran journalist who is trying to uphold these values of independence and accountability. You want to take another look?
आप लोग न्यूज़ देखते हैं न्यूज़ में उसमें पब्लिक की समस्या दिखाई देती है कुछ
नहीं हम लोग नहीं चाहिए
नहीं चाहिए
हकीकत चाहिए हम लोग को पानी चाहिए क्योंकि हम दौड़ के थक गए हैं सर
Tell us about the challenges that you face on a daily basis in this attempt to try to get the facts out there.
It has become very challenging now. That's why, like Vinay said, that I wanted to make people realize that no sober society can afford to have a rogue media, a media which have turned into some sort of weapon and double-edged sword, and with that sword, this media killed itself first, and then went on killing all kind of voices which are related with questioning, related with oppositional instinct, and the kind of criminal intent this media has acquired, the destruction of this media, weaponization of Indian media is so serious that we need to pay attention. That's why I used to call out my viewers too, that you are a problem, you are a part of in this problem. Better be realized we are running out of time because this media is causing greater harm to a great democracy like India. We cannot afford to ignore this.
Vinay, we just heard Ravish describe this as a weapon. How urgent is this? What is at stake here?
I think it's very important that we understand that news plays a very critical role in our lives. As I understand it, people come to news because news is a major system of public information. And what's happening is that more and more people are switching off from the news. So it's absolutely urgent that we understand what's at stake. We build better systems of news. We build a better journalism for our journalists. Currently, in India, journalists have terrible contracts. They have monthly contracts. They have 3 monthly contracts. So there's no job security. They have terrible legal representation within their organizations, outside their organizations. Unless and until we take care of our journalists, it's very, very difficult for journalists to then, fight for us.
When we talk about the threats to journalism today, what role do you feel that the government, the media organizations, the general public themselves, what steps should be taken?
Government is not doing enough, is not doing anything. Because whatever Indian media is doing, the major beneficiary is the government, the politics of the party which runs the government. So we should not expect that they are going to do anything except they will allow this kind of media to to flourish in this kind of society.
Ravish, Vinay, we thank you so much for coming on the show. We do want to let viewers know that While We Watched is going to be available on Friday in select theaters. And still to come, he's more than the most dedicated softball umpire in one state. He's also the oldest. What keeps him coming back to the game?
When I got sent to Idaho to cover the murders of 4 college students, it was a story that didn't make any sense. 4 students stabbed to death in their beds while 2 roommates were home.
You gotta think to yourself, okay, who's the target and how many people would a man go through to get to his target?
I'm Kana Whitworth with ABC News. This is the story of savage murders, a determined small-town police force, and a scholar of crime. This is the King Road Killings. The full series is out now. Listen to every episode wherever you get your podcasts.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television. From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
All right, finally tonight, he's been calling softball games in North Dakota for decades and decades. Tonight, reporter Kevin Wallivan from our partner station WDAY introduces us to the state's oldest umpire.
It is one of those perfect ballpark nights in North Dakota. Fred's Den is taking on the Jamestown Sluggers.
It's time to start the game.
And 89-year-old Lee Ham is preparing to ump another night of softball in the central part of the state.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yep. As soon as you're ready, you can take the field then.
Lee has been umping baseball and softball
Well then, better up.
just over 50 years.
I remember one time we were out umpiring a state tournament up in Grand Forks and it rained, and it really rained. And the players were having a great time. The diamonds were just mud. And they were just running and sliding down their stomach and just enjoying the heck out of it. But it was a wild time, yeah. Hey!
Lee played ball in his hometown of Edgeley, North Dakota, served in the Army, was a school superintendent for years, and now chases 15 grandkids and 20 great-grandkids. But he's also on the road several times a month in the summer.
Time!
The Hall of Famer softball umpire has officiated national tournaments and has been honored countless times for his dedication to his time behind the plate,
Time!
which he still meticulously maintains. At the age of 89, Lee has thought about hanging up his hat. But why?
I just love to do it. I just like doing it. You know, every year I think it's going to be my last year, and when spring rolls around and the weather starts getting nice, I think maybe I can try it one more year, you know?
Lee is not only the oldest softball umpire in North Dakota, he is one of the senior umps in the country.
On a tree! Yeah, I've been lucky. I've been very fortunate, yeah.
Think of the miles that Lee has put on over the last 4 decades, umping games in Carrington, Steele, and Gackle, North Dakota. Thousands of miles, hundreds and hundreds of games. And Lee will be the first one to tell you, this is good for him.
Out of 2! Yeah, I think it's real good. It keeps me active. It gives me something to do. Yeah, keeps me going.
Calling balls and strikes on prairie diamonds across our state.
Hey. Like I said, I've been here in Jamestown for 42 years, I think, now, and like these ladies that are playing now, they were little girls playing when I first started, you know. Some of them are elderly ladies now.
Those few months of the year when the night is long and Lee's voice carries across the field.
Hey.
Keep calling those balls and strikes, Lee. And that's our show for tonight. I'm Lindsay Davis. ABC News Live is here for you all night with the latest news, context, and analysis. You can always find us on Hulu, Roku, the ABC News app, and of course on abcnews.com. Have a great night. This is ABC News Live.